What's going on, good people? It's been a minute. I ain't really been doing too much international traveling, although I just got back from a trip. Man, I took my first cruise and I have the sunburn to show for it. And I know this might sound ignorant, but I did not know the black people could get sunburn. I thought that melanin that everybody be complaining about not having protected us, but apparently I didn't have enough sunscreen on. So the next time I go on a cruise, boy, I'm gonna have the highest level of sunscreen that you can find, because this don't look that good. It looked like my bald head got a bald head. Yeah. It ain't painful or nothing. Thank God it wasn't burning, but it's peeling. And it's starting to look pretty crazy. But yeah, so first cruise, you know me, man. I'm gonna fly somewhere, get off the plane and do my thing, kind of cat. But I must say, man, I really enjoyed it. I was on the Norwegian gym. Now, the reason why I ended up on the cruise, I was actually performing. I was one of the entertainers on the boat, doing stand-up. And that was a pretty dope experience, man. Meeting a lot of great people. I met some real fun people from all over the United States. A couple of people from like Germany, people from the UK. Yeah, I had a good time. I had 2 shows. Both shows went pretty good. The pay is pretty good. So looking forward to it. I'm actually going back out next month. I'm going to be going over to Hawaii and hopping on the boat over there and rocking out again. But purpose of this video, as a first-time cruiser, I wanted to talk about my experience and also talk about some of the things that's on the boat for anybody that is an avid cruiser or somebody looking to take a cruise for the first time. Like, broaden your horizons. Now, if you scared of the ocean, it ain't for you, because you're out there. Like, I done been deep sea fishing before, but this is the furthest. Whenever I go deep sea fishing, we can still see land. You know what I mean? And boy, you out there. Like, you know, I tell you like this. The first port we went to was Cozumel, Mexico. And when I woke up that morning and saw some land, I was like, oh, it exists. It exists. I thought we was just floating off into oblivion. But nah, it was a good time. Didn't really have to deal with no seasickness or nothing, because like I say, I'm used to being on boats all my life anyway. But I would say my favorite thing on the boat was eating. Yeah, again, I was on the Norwegian gym. It's one of their smaller boats. I think it's more set for like 5 to 6 day cruises. The food, man, listen, if you're not disciplined when it comes to eating, you need to take a handler with you. Like me, my biggest thing is the sweets. Man, I ate so much cheesecake and pie, but they do have nice gym facilities on the boat. So every morning I was at least disciplined enough to get up and go hit them weights or either hit the treadmill, because I already knew what I was about to get into. But you can pretty much eat 24 hours a day. They got breakfast, the buffets was cool, lunch, and then they got an overnight restaurant called Oceans. And it's 24 hours. It's a little bar and grill. Now, they scaled down to like a skeleton menu late at night, but you still got your choice of burgers, chicken fingers, fish and chips, buffalo wings. Now, they wings ain't fried like we mostly used to here in the States. They was kind of like the baked style, but they still was pretty good, especially at 3 a.m. and you been drinking and you need something to soak that alcohol up. Highly recommend the food. I didn't get a chance to go to any of the specialty restaurants, because that's not included like when you pay for your cruise, unless you specify you want to add those on. But some of them restaurants was like $80 a person. And I'm like, well, I'm on this ship to make money, not spend money. I'm trying to get back with as much as I can. So I ain't gonna lie, I didn't go to none of the specialty restaurants. But to me, the buffets was cool. The buffets was straight. Really wasn't no need to go. Now, if you are into like drinking alcohol and you take a cruise, you might want to look at that cruise at the drink package, because the drink package, they charge you a certain amount. Like, for example, on Norwegian, I think it's like $69, $70 a day, and you get up to a certain amount of drinks. Other than that, man, depending on what you're drinking, like me, when I do drink on the rare occasion, I like drink Crown and Remy and, you know, whiskey, that kind of stuff. And that was like $15 a glass, you know what I mean? But here go the good thing. They also add a gratuity in automatically. So if you want a tip, you know, for some outstanding service, or you got a cool bartender that really having a heavy hand for you, then do your thing. But just know the tips are included. My last night, I went to like the not going away party, but the last little party they had before everybody get off the boat the next morning. And I ordered a glass of Remy. Now, he did give me, I had a champagne glass, so I had a gentleman's pour. But man, that Remy was $42. I was like, boy, I could have bought a bottle of Remy for this, boy. I started to tell bro, man, pour this shit back in the bottle. Like, I'm good. Just give me some ground. But nah, it was cool. I think for the whole week, I was out for 5 days. I spent like $120. And all that wasn't alcohol. I messed around and had to get some soap, and I got some other little things from like the gift shop. So bottles of water. Now the water's expensive now. They give you like a liter of water is like $5. But if you get the drink package, because you don't have to get the alcohol package, they got another drink package that's like sodas and coffee and juice and water. So make sure you look into that. The parties. The parties was cool. Now, I had always heard that Norwegian was one of like the more grown ships. You know, it's kids on the boat, but they ain't really that much of a nuisance. And then you'll see them in the pool, but they got an adult pool too that you can get in where the kids ain't allowed. So the parties was cool. They had a bunch of them, different themes. They had cover bands. They had all kind of things going on for anybody who wanted to, you know, get into that kind of action. Karaoke nights was cracking. They had a glow party the Saturday night after my last show, and I went up there afterwards, and that was pretty cool, you know. But you already know, it's just a bunch of older people. Now it ranged. There was a lot of couples, a lot of older people. So I'm in my 40s, so my the 40s and up. Shout out to the Columbia High School here in Atlanta class of 1984. They was doing a reunion on the boat, man. I had a good time, man. I met a lot of them. By the end of the trip, I was nephew, you know what I mean? So shout out to them. They know who they are. But yeah, man, the parties was dope. Now, the only thing about it, I heard the whole week that Carnival was more of like a cruise line for the younger people. Now, Norwegian things tend to shut down about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So unless you just had a crew that was trying to go around the boat, getting into random things at night, but most likely you're going to end up at that bar and grill that's 24 hours. Another favorite thing of mine on the boat was the staff. The staff was dope, man. They was cool, very informative, very helpful. A lot of them come from all over the world. I was meeting people from like the Philippines, South Africa. Yeah, it was a couple of girls on there from Colombia that was bad. I ain't get a chance to really meet none of them. But yeah, the staff was dope. They was real dope. They will really enhance the experience. Even the ones that was just kind of coming out, I met a few of them. They was like, oh, this is my first job. I've only been out here like 3 or 4 months. They still took pride in what they did, and they'll take care of you if you look out for them. So make sure you're nice to them folks. Now, outside of comedy, they got other specialty shows. Now, on the gym, they had, what was the name of that group? Blazing Boots, I think it's their show where they do like, it's like singers and dancers, a live performance where they do like covers. They did one night they did like a bunch of country songs, which was actually way better than I expected. I'm not really into country. I listen to all music, but country ain't really, my main cup of tea. But I sat through the whole hour show and was like, this is dope. I don't know if it was the singing that was great or some of them dancers, because couple of them was fine. Actually, one of them was staying on the same hall as me, and we would chop it up a little bit. I don't think she ever caught one of my shows, but every time I saw her, I was like, man, I seen you doing your thing last night. You know what I mean? But then that Friday, I think they came back and did another show where they covered like a lot of 70s and 80s like R&B hits. So that was cool too. Now the ports that we went to, like I said earlier, we went to Cozumel and we went to Costa Maya. We were supposed to go to the Bahamas and we were supposed to go to Key West, but the rain and a bad storm hit us, so they had to abort mission and keep on going. Now, if you get off in the port, just know you in the tourist zone, so anything you gonna buy is gonna be triple. For example, I wandered in the Senior Frogs at Cozumel, but I already knew what to expect. Being in the tourist area, I end up getting one of those giant daiquiris that they serve in one of them big old plastic cups. And I got some guacamole. Now, the guacamole, I ain't gonna lie, was good. But when my bill came, I was like, ooh, they bust me across the head. That guacamole and that drink were $40. Yeah, so just be advised, I would always suggest, you know me, I like to get out and mingle with the local people and go where they go. But being that I had to perform and I couldn't really run the risk of missing the ship, I just hopped off, went into the tourist area, and then I got back on the boat. Which brings me to another thing that I enjoy doing. Watching the dock runners, the people that be playing with that time. Because let me tell y'all something. For that boat to leave your ass, they got a strict itinerary they have to follow. They ain't got time to be waiting on you because you want to go over there and sightsee and hang around in the gift shop or be lollygag and coming back drunk. But them folk will leave your ass. I think on my next trip, I'm going to sit in the back of the boat and I'm going to advise and I'm going to invite people to come and make bets. $5 on who, you know what I mean? We going to make bets on the people that we see running back, whether they going to make it or not. Now, the ship going to give you a loud, they going to give you that horn to give you the signal, but they will leave you. We ain't see nobody get left on this one, fortunately for them. But we did see some people, but I see some people running some 4.4s. Boy, the NFL Combine could have came out there and found some talent. But I see some people huffing it running back. But yeah, that was pretty funny to watch the people running in panic. Because here's the thing. If you miss that boat, you responsible for getting yourself to the next port or either getting back home. So if you ain't got your passport, let's just say you left your passport in the room, because some of the places you don't even need to have a passport to get on the boat. You can just have a birth certificate and an ID. So if you ain't even got no passport, just imagine how that's going to go. Whew. When you first get on the boat, you got to do something called muster drills, where they pretty much walk you through like the safety protocols just in case an unfortunate event happens. They show you how to put the life vest on, and they show you what stations that you would meet at, because it's different meeting points just in case of an emergency. Although as an entertainer, I didn't have to go to the muster drill, I can tell you this. Don't miss that shit. Like, don't think them folk gonna forget about you because you ain't show up, but they would chase you down like the student loan people. And word on the street is, if you miss, they give you a couple opportunities to do it. It's not long. It's like a little short presentation. But if you miss it, I think they can put your butt up off that boat. So make sure you hit your muster drill. Now, the last thing I talk about was something. I was in the pool Saturday where I got the sunburn, and I saw a bunch of people going over and looking off the side of the boat, and they were looking at something. And come to find out, the captain had saw an abandoned sailboat out in the middle of the ocean, and they stopped to investigate it. Now, wasn't nobody on board, but I think in that case, like if somebody's adrift or out at sea and needs help, it's kind of understood that they, let them come on board and save them. I was thinking to myself the whole time, like, but I hope ain't nobody on that boat. This is how them zombie movies be starting. Somebody done floated from some old crazy place, got some weird sickness, and then next thing you know, everybody in trouble on that damn boat. But nah, there wasn't nobody on there, so that was cool. But all in all, like I said, even outside of performing, I would definitely do it again. It's like being on a little small city, a floating city for a week. You know what I mean? You're going to see the same people. And you get a chance to, like I say, build some friendships, man. I got some people that I done connected with that I'm looking forward to going to performing in their hometowns. And that's what life is about. It's just about experience. So shout out to Norwegian for that dope experience for my very first time, because I feel like that makes or breaks your experience. That first time, we know that kind of sets the tone for everything else. So I'm back on the Norwegian in April. And if you happen to be out doing a cruise in Hawaii, you might see your boy slinging jokes on the boat.